Everyone's got their opinions on Salem Witch Fest, and here is mine as somebody who actually got to go there this year. Hey everyone, I'm Anya, your resident bright and sparkly yoga witch. I'm that chick who's smiling a little bit too hard at you, making a little bit too much eye contact, but you know what? I am just happy to be there and share space. Welcome to my channel. I promise I'm gonna keep this experience real, raw, and authentic. But with that said, you can go ahead and put your pitchforks down because overall, I really did have an amazing time. What I really liked about this event, especially as the awkward, bright and sparkly, is that spirituality can create real change in this world, and that is exactly what this event was about. So let's go ahead and step inside this event together with some of the rituals, workshops, events that I attended to, and let's take a look at it, and you can decide for yourself if Salem Witch Fest 2026 is an event you want to check out in the near future. So to begin, let's go ahead and talk about the festival's energy and theme. I swear, from the second I came in, it really felt like I was coming to a family reunion with people I never even knew. Granted, I did come with my coven. There was just good energy. It felt so familiar. I think I actually got a bit overwhelmed with how familiar it felt in the best way possible. So to begin, let's go ahead and talk about the festival's energy and the theme. First of all, I loved the theme of this year's festival, which was Tending the Witchflame. Resilience, resistance, and ritual in times of turmoil. And let me tell you, that theme rang so freaking true. And let me tell you, each and every workshop really made a point to cover how, yeah, we're all from different practices times, but we are here to fight the good fight. And that's what it's about. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And just so you know, a mantra that I talk about quite often is heal yourself, heal others, heal the world. And that is exactly what this festival kind of implied, really. I really felt like I was among my own people. In particular, we were talking about witchcraft activism, but that's the thing. If you're tending to your own flame and you can fight and you can feel empowered through your own magical practice, same thing. Then you can empower others to strengthen their magical practice, to stand in their light, to stand up and shine bright. That includes failing too. But you know what? That's how we start to change the world, especially in times of turmoil. And guess what, friends? The world is changing. The world has changed, and the world is going to keep on changing. And we need warriors, we need leaders, we need witches, we need magical folk to help us change, because it's not going to happen on its own, and it all starts with having our energy in alignment. Okay, now I'm just going to select a few of the workshops I went to. I went to so many amazing ones, but I was truly touched by the following in no particular order. First workshop I want to go ahead and shout out is Curses and Catharsis with Jasmina. She is a Romani witch, and she shared her experience on being a Romani witch growing up in America. As soon as she entered the room, she had her partner Victor there playing some flamenco on the guitar as well. Beautiful presentation on what it's like to be Romani, what her experience was like being Romani growing up in America. She reminds us that the word gypsy is not tolerated anymore because it has a lot of negative cultural connotations rooted in racism. For example, to be gypped is actually we're a derivative of the word gypsy, so we want to be mindful on that. And to tie it all off, she sent us out with a beautiful ritual, basically cursing all the fuckery that goes on in this world. And it was really wonderful. I highly recommend you buy her book, Secrets of Romani Fortune Telling. I'll go ahead and link it down below. Moving on to our next workshop was 30 Years in the Sporting Life with Professor Porterfield. Professor Porterfield, I swear that man can talk and keep a room engaged. His workshop was incredible, it was captivating, and it left us with some thought-provoking thoughts, thought-provoking commentary on just a reminder of illegality is very subjective. He reminded us that the Holocaust was in fact legal. Slavery, also legal. Human beings, should they be illegal? I don't think so. This class was really wonderful because it really left us with the question of, just because it's legal, does it mean it's moral? We need to think for ourselves as a nation. Just because someone tells you something is good doesn't necessarily mean it is, right? I know that may sound very trite, but also America needs to wake up, humanity needs to wake up. And so he gave us this beautiful lecture, this beautiful discussion on all sorts of things, magic and legality and basically human rights, as well as ending it with the power of dance, which if you've seen me in my wonderful, horrible dance moves. I'm a huge proponent of dance. It's such a beautiful way to build the energy, and basically, you know, you want your magic to work, you got to dance it out a little bit. So huge shout out to Porterfield for a beautiful, amazing lecture. Another wonderful class that I really enjoyed was creating a conjure oil with Dr. Finch. It was so great to see Dr. Finch being led in by her entourage and just really holding space for her and creating a beautiful entrance. The class was really great because not only is Dr. Finch a plethora of knowledge, this was actually also a workshop, so we were able to make some Vam Vam oil. Also, I believe it's also referred to as Run Devil Run oil. And this was really great because collectively we actually got each ingredient, passed it around together. We all put our energies into it. Long story short, this oil is essentially a conjuring oil to keep the bad, the BS away, especially again, in times of need, in times of BS, keep the bullshit away. And then we also blessed it with a light ritual, which turned out to be a lot more explosive than anticipated, and it was truly wonderful. Another class that I really enjoyed was called The Way is Open, which was another conjure hoodoo root working class by Brother Yona. This class was another kind of discussion meets presentation class, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Basically, we talked about anything you needed to know about road openers, crossroads magic, working at crossroads, as well as blockbuster magic, which is basically crossroads magic on steroids. Great analogy on how blockbuster magic work. It's basically one of those things like you better be ready for it because blockbuster magic will open doors for you, but it is an explosive type of magic. For instance, if you're trying to get through traffic, not in magically of course, but in the mundane realm, if you light a grenade and throw it into the blockage, you certainly will get through, but there are going to be repercussions. That's exactly what Brother Yona was discussing in his class. Basically, you better be ready for the type of magic you're working with because it will certainly open doors for you, but you got to think of the repercussions. Typically, we don't like to throw ever grenades onto moving traffic. Yeah, let's not do that. Frankie is a fellow Italian witch, a fellow strega, which is actually really cool because I've known none, so I can officially say I know one. I thoroughly love being able to connect with them and getting just to pick their brain and just lament on what it is to be Italian. Frankie's class, The Bane and Blessings of Italian Folk Magic, definitely talked about just everything it is to be an Italian witch. They talked about Malocchio giving the Italian evil eye and all sorts of just nuances on what it's like to be an Italian witch, which I thoroughly enjoyed because it's just so much more enriching getting to hear about those experiences in person. So thank you, Frankie, for sharing your time and energy with us because that was a wonderful lecture. There were so many other great lectures that I attended to. Shout out to Jeremy Piccelli, shout out to Vincent V. St. Roche, and shout out to Dr. Alexander Cummings for also some great lectures. So after a long day of lecturing, there was also after parties, after events that we could attend to. For example, on the first night, there was a wonderful welcome dinner where we all went downstairs at the Hawthorne Hotel to what's called the Library, which is a library, and had a nice meet and greet dinner. That was really wonderful. And then after that, we got to go on a wonderful sunset cruise that night. And that was really great because that allowed a lot of presenters and attendees to mingle, and it's not so much about they're a presenter and I'm an attendee. It's like we're just people at the end of the day. I really enjoyed that aspect of the festival. That awkward encounter I was telling you about earlier, leave it to me to be so delightfully out of the loop. Basically, the dinner ends and I'm rushing to meet up with my friends. And so I see my friends totally like not the best at social cues, and I see this very tall man with long hair chatting to my friends. I go ahead, hand him the camera and say, hey, can you take a picture of us? And everyone just looks at me and starts laughing. And he's like, sure, I'd love to. And then to which my friend Taryn goes, yeah, that's Professor Porterfield, by the way. I'm like, oh no, the Professor Porterfield? I've heard about this man quite a bit, actually, and he's quite well-renowned man within the community, especially at this event for many reasons. And we just had a little funny exchange where he's like, dude, it's kind of nice to not be recognized. Sure, I'll take your picture. Do you have any other mundane tasks for me that I could attend to? It was just a great little moment, and this weekend was filled with moments like those, for sure. As far as other things I really enjoyed about this, I loved going to the Black Cat Cabaret. I highly recommend, even if you don't buy the full experience ticket, check out the Black Cat Cabaret. It's always nice to get your witch on with a bunch of witches and dance it out. It's super fun. We had drag queen and burlesque performances, which were amazing. Plus, you know, they gave us free wine for the first hour and food and snacks. So how can you complain with that? Another perk that I really liked about this event is that we weren't stuck at the convention center the entire time. I've been to other events, which are still great, but you're kind of isolated in one little area the entire time. This was nice because you could go attend a 2-hour workshop, go meander across town or skip a class. I attended all of them though, A+ for me. But go meander, get a break, and then come back, kind of keeping your energy fresh and alive, versus sometimes festivals get a little stagnant, especially conferences when it's just chatting all day. It's nice to just go outside, take a walk, and maybe go visit a little local witch shop or grab lunch. So 10 out of 10 for that, being located in the heart of Salem. Also, what was cool at this event is that they had a night market one of the nights. It was called Mercado delle Streghe, and of course the Italian in me was so giddy with joy because I'm like, yay, more Italianness. With that said, that was another really great merchant event to just go off and roam around to and basically blow all your money on. I actually got this from Frankie's shop, this cute scarf, among other things, among some Alocchio items as well. I also got this bitchin' necklace from a vendor, as well as just some really beautiful pieces. So I loved going to that. It was really nice having a huge selection of witchy, spiritual, whatever you want to call it, mystic merchandise. Okay, so I said I was going to keep it real. Let me go ahead and say what I did not like about the event, or what maybe could have been done a little better. First of all, if you are trying to vend at this event, I would highly recommend you do both the in-person, if not the Mercado. I imagine things are going to be a little bit different next year, but apparently some vendors didn't feel like they got a fair opportunity to share. Not my tea, but I am going to share it just a little bit because I am not a vendor. But if you are interested in becoming a vendor at this event, you may want to make sure that you do both vending events, just so you make sure you have a full range of access to customers. There were vendors on site. Personally, I had no problem finding them. The welcome paperwork literally said where to find the vendors. I'm not sure what the issue was. Maybe this person just had a bad event. Honestly, it was fine. But also I can see how the Mercado on the second night was more of an official time for people to meander. So if you're going to vend, I would say if they still do that same concept next year, the 2 vending halls, make sure you get access to both of them. Also, because I said I'm going to keep it real and I'm not a bootlicker, there were some issues with logistics, and it wasn't just me. I actually talked to many members of different communities, not just even the one I was in, but there were some logistics for getting into events because, for example, one event, there was a practical magic screening. We saw 3 different times. We saw 7 o'clock, 7:30, and 8 o'clock, which led us to be like, well, I don't want to get there too early, but I don't want to get there too late. I'm tired. So we ended up not going, which was a little bit of a bummer. Now, after I looked at the paperwork, I will say, after I looked at the paperwork again, there was a email hotline. I don't know if they would have been able to get back to us in time. We were staying off-site away from the hotel, but honestly, at the same time, if we really wanted to go, we would have asked a human. It's that simple, guys. Sometimes you just gotta ask people. If you don't know where to go, ask people. Ask somebody wearing a witch hat. Ask somebody who looks magical. Chances are they're part of the event and they can help you get into the right direction, because at the end of the day, the instructions were clear on where to go if you had questions. You just had to do a little bit of reading in the welcome paperwork. Also on that note, there was a ritual, like an anti-lux ritual, that said it was going on from something like 7 to 10. What wasn't quite articulated, at least from what I could tell, is the event actually wasn't from 7 to 10, rather that the event was going on from 7 to 10, and they were little rituals, like a theater shown in 10, 15, maybe even 20-minute blocks, and that's it. So basically you get all 3 rituals in about 10 minutes or so, versus we had thought it was a 3-hour event. That was one of those other events that we paid to go to, but we're just like, I do not want to spend 3 hours just watching something after watching events all day. Had it been a little bit more articulated that yes, this event is just a short and sweet thing, we would have gone, and it would have been nice to get what we had paid for. Maybe it was articulated elsewhere that we didn't see. Again, if it was a super big deal to me, to us, we would have maybe try to find a way of getting a hold of someone, but at the same time, it's nice when directions are crystal clear. With that said, that really was my only complaint for Salem Witch Fest. Overall, I felt like it was a really great witchy family reunion filled with a lot of love and a lot of lessons and a lot of knowledge that I'm really happy to come home to. I felt like it was very much as a come as you are space, and as long as you're bringing good energy will be reciprocated. Nobody was ever mean. In fact, one thing I do want to say, there was a creepy guy at the event who was creepy from pretty much the second we went to that welcome dinner. I didn't think he was actually a part of the event. And it sounds like if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, but he made the rounds at least a couple of days of being a creeper. They ended up kicking him out. I mean, when they say this behavior is not tolerated, they are very much acting on that. So overall, I rate this event a 9.5 out of 10 based on the events I've been to so far. I would definitely go back. Being able to have the hub in Salem was great. The presenters were great. The theme was great. And special shout out to Jackie and Matthew for putting on an event, because I know their hearts were in the right places. And at the end of the day, they're trying to show the community, the witch community, especially those on Witch Talk, that it's not just about doing magic for yourself. It's not just about doing magic because it looks cool, but it's for a cause. And that's what we have to remember. Go ahead, let me know what you think. If you saw me there and we just didn't get time to connect, I would love to connect with you. I am shy and introverted, even though I project a lot of energy. There were so many beautiful faces that I didn't have a chance to meet again or truly connect with. But nonetheless, I'd love to hear your thoughts, your experiences on Salem Witch Fest, because at the end of the day, we are a community and everyone has the right to share their opinions. That's how we grow and that's how we do better. So thank you all for watching. Make sure you follow me on all my socials for some extra behind the scenes Salem Witch Fest content. Thanks for watching.